Hi there and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2024 KZ Connect 271BHKSE. We are just going to start off with the back unit. If you notice up top, you pre-mounted for your own observation camera. If you'd like to get set up with that, just feel free to contact our parts department. They'd be more than happy to put together a quote for you. It's going to be a great little addition to your camper. In addition to that, you got your stair set so you can get up and periodically check all your seals on your roof. And then you do have your hot water service port. There's really not much you need to worry about back here. The main thing is going to be this power switch. Turning that on supplies power to the thermostat inside. And then this isn't like your traditional water heater. It is a new tankless system. So if you've had a traditional water heater, winterizing this one is going to be a little bit different if you've done it yourself, of course. So this one, there's no bypass valves behind this water heater. You just run antifreeze through it. I know, a little weird, but that's just how it's done. And then once you're done your winterization process completely, remove this brass plug and leave it removed for the duration of winter. Reason being, once that antifreeze starts really gelling up during those cold months, it has a place to go instead of cracking inside your coils. So again, that's gonna be the only thing you really need to worry about. And if you don't winterize yourself, you take it somewhere like us, you have nothing to worry about. In this back corner, you can get access from both sides, by the way, but we're just going into the driver's side today. That is where you're wanting to store your sewer hose, especially after your first use. We do have a brand new one located inside the front compartment, which is why there's not one in there yet. And the cap just presses into place like so. And then in this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you've got stabilizer jacks. Running these feet down to the ground. Once the feet do contact the ground, just give you another 1/8 turn, snug it up. It's going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. Little addition to this, these are not leveling jacks, they're stabilizing jacks. Please don't try and use them to level, otherwise you do run the risk of bending them. Same goes for if you're running them up or down with an impact. I know that with today's day and age, everyone's got one. Just be careful whenever you are using it. You don't want to put too much torque on them. In this back corner here, you got your 2 low point drains, a hot and a cold, cracking them open. It's going to be how you drain a majority of the water out of the lines. It's good for if you're leaving the unit for a while, you don't want the water going stale or stagnant, or once you're done your winterization process, it's pretty important that you crack these open, allow a majority of the antifreeze to leak out. Again, reason being, once it starts gelling up during those cold winter months, it has the space inside the lines to do so. A little bit more further ahead, you got your first sewer exit. Cap's already off here because I was draining everything out. These ears, the same ears your sewer hose has. Clicks, locks into place, you're good to go. You got both valves located on the frame here. You got your black on your right and gray on your left. You always want to empty the black on your right first. This will be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with the one on the left, the gray valve, which is your typically cleaner water filled from your sinks or your showers. In this case, I do believe that this is the sink and the shower for the bathroom. And then you're gonna have your galley one, which is right up front. And that's gonna be just for your kitchen sink. It's gonna work the same way as this one does. Standard 30 amp twist lock connection. You just take a note to that notch there. Lines up with this notch on this side. Press it firmly into place. Once it's firmly pressed into place, you get that 8th turn to lock it down, and then you got that threaded collar to really lock it into place. If you followed the cord back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug-in. Now, most campsites should have this in the plug right on in, but let's say you have the unit at home and you want to run your fridge. Your campsite only has a 15 amp service, which is your standard household outlet. We do include that part adapter to go down from 30 to 15. Just keep it in mind whenever you are using it, you're going down in power. You're not gonna be able to run something like your air conditioner. And then whenever you are plugged in, the blue light at the top is telling you have a successful power source. If the red light were to be on, that's letting you know that you have a problem with your source of power and not a problem with the trailer. Right here, you got your black tank flush. It's gonna be pretty important you use that every couple of uses. It's also gonna help if you're noticing false monitor panel readings, there's some odor around the unit. It's always good to use that flush just to keep things flushed out, but it is important you also read the caution sticker to let you know that if you are using it, you have to have your sewer hose connected and your black tank valve open, just so that once the pressure starts building up, it has a place to go. We're coming a little bit further ahead of the unit here. You got your wastewater holding tank. Again, that's gonna be for your galley, docking station. It's gonna be the square key you have on your key ring. It's not gonna be the same color as mine, but it will be either a gray key or a purple key. Opens up this docking station. That opens that up. You get this little outside shower that you can use, and this is also where you're going to find your city water connection as well as your fresh tank fill. Bring your garden hose onto there. This blue valve, with it down like it is now, you're on tank fill. If you were to turn that up and point it to the right, you're going to be on city water connection. So if you're trying to fill your fresh tank, you want it pointed down. If you're at a site with service and you're just wanting to pressurize those lines, you turn it to with it pointed right, and you'll just be on the city. Inside this compartment here, open up this lid. This is going to be where you get that outside shower attachment. Again, like any standard airline, pull back on the collar, push insert place, sprayable cold water. This little trap door here, these two screws, take them out, remove them. That's where you're going to find access to your water pump for winterization. In here, get your standard starter kit, 10-foot sewer hose, 15-foot water hose, some other miscellaneous goodies, including that 15-amp park adapter I told you about. You're going to notice also in the front of the compartment there, you get solar pre-wired. You're pre-wired for a solar system if you wanted to get one installed. Again, just contact the parts department. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Right at the front here, you got your battery box. That's where your battery is located. Battery disconnect switch right up front with it in the on position like it is now. The batteries are connected to the unit. Turning it to the off position would disconnect the batteries from the unit. Underneath this cover here, most of the time you can get what you need done just by loosening off the two tabs. Push them out of the way. And you can get what you need done with the propane tanks just by doing that. But for the purpose of the video, or if you need to change one of the tanks out, just lift up, pull up, slides right out of place. This little valve here, selector valve in the front of your regulator, with it pointed this way, you're obviously drawing off this tank. If it was to point the other way, you'd be drawing off that tank, counterclockwise like any standard barbecue, nice and slowly to open up the flow. Now if this tank were to go empty, close it, disconnect it, go to fill it up, and twist this over to the other side, and you can draw off this tank while you're doing so. Coming around to this side here, so you're going to find the tool fill stabilizer jacks. Again, you come with the manual tool. There's a little light inside the storage compartment on its own center push button. Got your furnace exhaust here. Whenever your furnace is on and running, it's going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. Got your range hood flap. Whenever you get to your campsite, making sure that's unclamped so that you're evacuating those fumes as you're making them using the stove. But of course, whenever you're traveling, trying to remember to snap that back into place just so you're not allowing any excess dust into the unit. A couple plug-ins outside here, of course. Got a leash latch in case you have any animals you want to tie up. Inside here is going to be your little exterior kind of kitchen area. 120-volt mini fridge, so this will work whenever you're plugged into shore power, but you do have to have shore power going for this to start getting cold. Get your little griddle, pull up on the two tabs that are going to allow you to pull that right down. Now you get your propane quick connect line. Pull back on the collar like any standard airline. Go underneath here and stick it into the brass fitting. Pull back, insert in place. I like to assist it a little bit as I'm doing it. Not putting any strain on anything. Once it clicks and locks us in, you can open up the flow propane as an added safety feature. You can operate the collar with the flow propane open, and now you can take this end and run it back here to your propane quick connect line, which you do have two of if you'd like to get a second one because you had something else you needed to plug into propane. Again, just by contacting the parts department, we got all these lines here at the shop and they can definitely help you get set up with that. Again, pull back, insert, push, lock into place, open up the flow propane, added safety feature, can operate the coupler with the flow propane open, and then you can fire up your griddle. Obviously, tear it all down, it's just the complete opposite. Now, if you wanted to take a step inside, push the handle up, locks it into place, that'll allow you to open up the door. Gotta have your door open up all the way to fold your stairs down. On that tab, stairs are gonna start coming down towards you. Adjustable feet, pulling on this, that'll allow that to slide in those different tracks so you can have nice and level seat for your campsite. How you're gonna want to adjust the stairs is just so that this black faceplate is flush against the silver faceplate so the door can open up and close freely without binding or rubbing. Now if you take a step on inside, first thing you notice off on the right is your fire extinguisher, which is pretty much just like home, pull the pin and shoot. Then up on the wall here, you got your KZ control panel. Whenever it's motion sensitive, so whenever you wave something in front of it, it automatically lights itself up, which is nice, so you can see what you're doing. At that point, you got your living room lights, which turns on all the lights in the main living room. an awning light switch, which turns on an awning LED light underneath that awning. And then you got a water pump, obviously draws out of your fresh tank. And then you have a couple different accent lights you can turn on, whether that be inside and outside. You got your awning button, hit and hold that extend button. The awning's gonna start making its way out. Once the awning is at its full extension, you're of course gonna see the little flap come down in the back of the metal tube. Sometimes the flap can get stuck, so you might just have to retract it a couple feet, put it back out again to get it to come down. Now, unfortunately, today we don't have enough space to get the awning all the way out. But right there, we're out enough that I can show you that if it were to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, pull down at the center. It's gonna change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to now run off. Now, if you like that angle better, it's gonna allow for more shade underneath. You can do the same thing with the rear arm. Just make sure before you try to bring the awning in, you do push arms both back to straight, their natural position. Now, of course, if you have the awning out, it acts as a wind sail. If it starts getting windy, make sure you bring it in. Otherwise, you do run the risk of ripping your fabric or bending your arms. And to get that in, you just push and hold the retract button. The awning starts rolling its way in, and once the arms contact the side of the trailer, the motor's automatically cut out. Now, just a little extra note, if you have to roll this up while it's wet, it's not the end of the world, but try and remember at your next earliest convenience to roll it back out and allow it time properly to dry off. That way you're not accelerating growth of mold or mildew inside of there. And you heard those arms contact the side of the trailer and the motor's automatically come out. Next, you got your slide out control. Now, it's always a good measure, if you can, to take a quick look inside the slide out to make sure that nothing is shifted during travel, because a lot of times that is possible. Make sure nothing got caught in between the slide and the wall. If you did that, now just make sure on the other side of the slide you have enough room on the outside for it to go all the way out. And once you did all that, you can just push and hold the extend button or the out button for this situation, and the slide will start making its way out. Once it reaches its full extension, you're going to hear the motors wind up and click. Always try and be visual whenever you are putting it out too. Try and make sure you watch and see it's going nice and even and straight. Now, as an added little extra, if you want to be extra cautious, just run your hand between the slide out and the wall. You're going to want to make sure you feel that rubber seal up against the wall, just sealing out any moisture. Now, I got your 2 bunk spaces here at the back, top bunk, bottom bunk, a little storage nook underneath there. You even have a little curtain for privacy. Opening up this door, it comes into your bathroom. The light switch is on your right. You got your main GFI plug here on the wall. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, most of the plugs are ran through this to make sure it isn't tripped. Reset up top, test down below. You got your Fugatti water heater control, up or down at any time to change your set temperature. Now, because this system is a tankless system, the way they want you to set your temperature is they want you to set the temperature to where you find the hot water as comfortable, usable water. They don't want you to have to blend in the cold at all. The reason being is because it's a tankless system. Water flows through that water heater element, and as it flows through, it gets heated up. So once you turn on the cold, it does affect that flow. So it runs the most efficiently when you set the temperature to exactly where you want it with just the hot on. Plus and minus, obviously, to adjust that. Other than that, it's your pretty standard bathroom. And then, of course, above your head, you do get your standard vent lid. Opening it up all the way, straight up into the atmosphere. It's going to get wet inside of here, unless, of course, you went with a ventless, a max air vent lid. Goes over top of here. It's going to stop it from getting wet inside of here in case it were to rain. And, of course, you're not going to damage your vent lid if you were to forget it open during travel. If you'd like to get set up with that, again, just contact your parts department. They'd be more than happy to help you out. Next, you come into your living space, fire exits on both windows. You're just having to take the red tabs on either side, hold them. It's going to unlatch the window and allow you to fold the window right out. At that point, you can go feet first out. But if there is a fire, just try and get out as quickly as possible. That table is going to fold down into a bed. You're just having to take the feet from underneath it. Take the feet from underneath it, set your tabletop in your desired ledges, take back cushions, fill in the center. You have yourself another bed. That does go the same for the couch. You just have to pick up on the foot of the couch and pull it towards you. And your entertainment center. This is where you could mount a TV if you'd wanted to do so. The backers right here. You got a couple coax outlets for your stereo, the AV cables. Stereo down below, pretty much just like home. Just the fact of having your zone A and zone B. Zone A is these speakers here. Zone B will be your outside speakers. All the blinds in this unit do work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them, and then one quick pull will allow them to retract back up. Now, this unit has tons of storage throughout it. Just whenever you are using any of it, just being mindful of drains, water lines, and wiring. You're not going to be wanting to affect any of that. You got your fridge, freezer combo. Freezer up top, fridge down below. This setting here, it's the coldest setting. It's going to be also what makes the fridge the coldest the fastest. You got this off-grid writing here. That's just letting you know that the most energy efficient setting to run it off if you were running it on just battery power. Charcoal filter on the far left to help with any fridge odors. Again, getting set up with some more of these just by contacting your parts department in case you wanted a couple spares on hand. Slide it into place. Right down below, you get your main fuse and breaker panel. Whenever the breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. All your corresponding fuses will be on the right. There should be a little red indicator light letting you know which one's blown if one were to blow. Now, because this unit is equipped with propane, right before we go over our stove, I'll mention that right there you got your LP detector. If this guy ever starts going off, don't panic. Just turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit and open up some windows and vents to get some fresh oxygen inside of here. Now, with all that being said, your propane system, whenever you turn the system off at the front of the unit or disconnect one of the bottles that allows air into the system, once air makes its way in, it does have to be purged out. Now, I always recommend to all my customers when I speak to them, first thing you do when you get to your campsite is firing your stove. And the reason I say that is that's the quickest, easiest way to purge the system. You do it first thing when you get there, so that way if you do have to fire up your furnace or when you go to fire up your water heater, they light first try, no questions asked, and you don't have to deal with any fault codes. The reason I'm saying by doing it with your stove is you choose how long the gas runs for and how many sequences it tries to light for. If you go to try to fire up your water heater or your furnace before you purge the system, again, those will only try lighting themselves a couple times and then it'll send a fail code. So to get that, just turn it over to the high/light option, hitting the igniter. Of course, it fired right on today just because I had the system running earlier. Most of the times it can take a few minutes to get propane out. Now, of course, whenever you're trying to use this though, because it is gas, we have to be safe while using it. So whenever you turn this on into the high option, you're always making sure that you're having to hit that igniter every few seconds, because if you don't, and there was propane to start flowing out, and then you hit the igniter, if there was a buildup of gases there, it could cause a minor combustion. And if your face was nearby, you're probably gonna lose some eyebrows and eyelashes, maybe some beard hair if that applies to you. Doesn't sound like fun. So again, just be safe whenever you're using it. If you were to come inside and see the valve, this was on, but it wasn't lit, don't try and light anything. Don't try and light a cigarette. Turn it off. Turn the vent fan on. Evacuate all the fumes out of here for quite a while before you try and light it again, just so that you're extra safe about it. Behind us, you got, again, more kitchen space, more cupboard space. And then up on the wall here, right above that LP detector, you got your thermostat. Push the button once, it illuminates itself. Push it again, you can go into your mode, cool. So that's the air conditioning taken into effect. The air conditioning moves the air through the ceiling ducting you have throughout the unit. And whenever you're using the air conditioner, you do have a couple different fan options. You can have it on high or low auto, in which case that's the setting I recommend is the auto setting. Turns it into an on-demand system. So if the room's 72, you got to set to 33. The air conditioner is going to run continuously until the room reaches 33 degrees and it'll automatically cut out. The most efficient setting, of course, you can run that fan on either high or low full time, but that fan will run continuously all day until you manually turn it off. And it also affects to if you had the air conditioner running and then you try to fire up your furnace, the air conditioner fan is going to still continuously run while your furnace is running, because your furnace is a separate entity, runs off propane, moves all its air through the floor portals, only has one fan setting. It's not hooked up to the air conditioner at all. So that's why I always recommend using that auto setting. It's just the best setting to leave it on. Turn that over one more time. Again, that's going to kill your air conditioner, fire up your furnace. Your furnace only has one fan setting. It's its own thing, so making sure it's purged before is a good plan. Whenever you turn this off, it does run for an additional 3 minutes to allow itself time to cool down. Turn that over one more time, you get a cool plus heat option, but it's very important that you leave it on auto for that setting to work properly, so it can kick in or out whatever is needed automatically. One more time after that, you get a that's it. That's all the settings for it, actually. Sorry. Off, everything turns off, minus the furnace. It would shut off in another 3 minutes. Into the bedroom, light switch on the left. You're gonna notice this door here, it's got a travel strap. It is there for a reason. If that strap's not there, that door is gonna be able to slide around freely and more than likely cause damage. Again, another thing you'll want to avoid, so make sure that's all strapped up before you leave. And then other than that, it's a pretty standard bedroom. You got a TV backer here in case you were to want to mount a TV inside. Your main satellite cable outlet here. There's also this little black button. Turning that on turns that green light on. That is supplying power to the antenna up on the roof. It's also going to improve radio frequency and cell phone frequency, so I recommend leaving it on whenever you're camping, but just try and remember to turn it off when you're not camping because it will draw battery power. Storage all around, plug-ins on either side of the bed. If you pick up on the foot of the bed, you get a little extra storage spot. Now that is going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.